When the Quran was revealed, another poet whose poem was likewise hung on the walls of the Kaaba, Labid, his name, stopped composing poetry. And people said, Labid actually became Muslim. People asked him, Labid, you don't compose any poetry any longer. Why? And he said, Abad al-Quran, after the Quran, no, there's no room for it. It's not that he was saying the Quran is better or superior poetry than the poetry we poets compose. Toward the end of the lecture, I'll come back to this subject and make a few comparisons between pre-Islamic Arabic poetry and the Quran, and why a poet like Labid said, after the Quran, I cannot compose any more poetry. Let's get to nuts and bolts now. The first thing to note about the Quran, I'll number these so that it'll be easier for us to refer to these things. Quran is spelled Q-U-R and an apostrophe representing a certain letter of the Arabic language, and then A with the bar over it, Makron, and N. There are other spellings of the word, of course, but this is the preferred spelling because it is more accurate phonetically. The word Quran has two meanings. It means recitation and it means reading. And the Quran is recited from memory. There are not hundreds, not thousands, probably millions of Muslims who've memorized the Quran, and people of all ages, not only old men and women, but young people, even children. In the Muslim world, you will find 10, 12-year-old kids having memorized the whole of this book, which is about the size of the New Testament. And as we learned in an earlier session today, most of the Muslim population, world Muslim population, is non-Arab, which means that most Muslims do not speak Arabic as their first language, and yet almost every Muslim is able to, or is supposed to be able to, read the Quranic script, and hundreds and thousands of kids who don't know a word of Arabic are able to memorize this Quran and can reproduce it without once looking it up. So the Quran is recited from memory, and the Quran is read from a text.